Morning, fellas and ladies. Happy Thursday morning to you. Hopefully, everybody's doing well, getting settled on into this episode of Winning Bets. You've got your coffee. Maybe you take a little break at work right now and you go to the break room, you get your little snack, and you say it's time to tune in to Winning Bets for a little sports and some sports betting talking. God damn it, I appreciate you guys kicking off another morning with me right here. We got to make sure we, of course, recap yesterday's action, and then we got to get into some bets today. We've got soccer bets, of course, to share with you. We've got some NHL bets. We've also going to talk some NBA and NFL and share some bets in those sports as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and kick off the action. We're ringing that cash register coming off a great Wednesday. That's right. We got to spell that appropriately in the tweet at plus 4.57 units. Love to see that right there. It all kicked off yesterday with a 2-unit parlay. Remember, we went into yesterday needing a goal to be scored in Leeds versus Cardiff, and if you were a little late getting that stream up, well, you walked right on into money on your pocket. We watched that game on TikTok live and got a first-minute cash Leeds Cardiff. Rodrigo chipped the ball up over to the defense to Canato. And my man did not finish in fantastic style with a nice left-footed volley, little jump volley. It was electric. It was electric to get the cash in the first minute. You knew the goal was going to come. I mean, what a no-brainer parlay to go ahead and put together. And Leeds didn't stop there. They ended up getting 3 goals in that first half. They were all over Cardiff. And no big shocker, though. Both teams are scoring over 2.5. Cash again in another Leeds fixture, but we obviously played it a little bit different there with the Wolves and Liverpool game. So, yeah, great 2-legged parlay to go ahead and kick off our day. And then the pain happened, fellas, and maybe you guys will get some enjoyment out of how I went about watching this Manchester United game. So we were still hanging out on TikTok, and we flipped over the coverage to that game once the Leeds Cardiff went ahead and cashed the 2-unit play. And we're watching United, and a little boring in the beginning, not a whole lot of chances, kind of played in the middle of the pitch. And then it was like around minute 30, United were turning the screws there a little bit before halftime, and it looked like they were going to get a goal. So on TikTok Live, it's like, fellas, I'm seeing plus 350 on the sports book for there's just to be 1 goal in the first half. I think we should go ahead and bet it. Plus 350 to me is great from what I'm seeing right now from United. We bet it in like minute 38, and there was a goal like 3-4 minutes later. So you get a great cash at plus 350. You go into halftime, you're up 1-0. Then I actually stopped watching because I went to do yesterday's episode of Between the Posts with Matt. So I didn't really catch the beginning of the second half. I came into the second half, Between the Posts is over. I re-get the Peacock stream up, and it was no shit. No kidding. 30 seconds later is when when I joined the stream, was when the announcer goes, yeah, and Casemiro's really got to be careful. You know, he's sitting there with only 1 more yellow card to go, and if he picks up a yellow card, he'll be suspended against Arsenal. But if he can just avoid a yellow card in this match, then he's okay, because then we're at the halfway point of the Premier League and the cards reset. What happens 2 minutes later? United turn the ball over in their own half. Zaha picks it up and is attacking the defense. And Casemiro does what every player's doing, does the tactical foul. It's a yellow card 100 out of 100 times as well. He gets knocked out for the Arsenal game. And at that moment, fellas, you know what came into my mind? Napoli. And I started getting sick in my stomach. You could feel it coming. I didn't watch, what was really going on in the second half, but I saw the substitution that was made. They subbed out Weghorst for McTominay. So that's bringing off an attacker and bringing in a defensive midfielder. So the tactics for United shifted of we're no longer going to be attacking. We're going to sit back and defend and hold out. And I got sick after just seeing what happened 2 days ago with this Napoli. And not that Palace had a lot of chances from those last 15 minutes I watched, but just the style of how it was set up. You knew it was coming. And then it was a beautiful free kick there by Olise. Give him all the credit in the world. Beautifully struck. Hit the underneath of the crossbar and bounces in. But teams get punished. I mean, Napoli gets punished. United gets punished. You got to get a second goal. Get a breathing room and put those teams away. Don't take off Weghorst for McTominay. Take off Weghorst and bring in Garnacho or bring in Palestri. Bring in an attacker. Keep pushing at Palace. Why? We've talked about in these shows, why would you give a team the confidence to grow back into a game? Give them the ball. give them a chance to maybe get an equalizer. I never understood that strategy. I get it. If you're attacking, then the spaces are bigger and you vulnerabilize yourself. But you're Manchester United, you're Napoli. You keep pushing. You get the second goal, you get the third goal, whatever it is in that situation. So brutal beat. The goal came in like the 92nd minute, 93rd minute. Brutal. And then you think United can get a winner on a corner kick. The ball goes through the box on the 6-yard box, and Casemiro has a chance to put any part of his body on it. No defender around it. The keeper can't save it because he's out of position. Just put any part of your goddamn body on the ball, and it's going to roll in the back of the net. And I think he was just so surprised that the ball goes through the whole 6-yard box. He doesn't get a thing on it. I'm still in pain on that. Quite frankly, that one still hurts. So. Oh, man, it's just a tough afternoon right there. But, hit the 2-unit play, thankfully, so at least the afternoon was profitable. Then we roll that on into the NBA action. C.J. McCollum over 3.5 made 3-pointers. I think he went 5 for 8, if I recall correctly. And then blowout. The most frustrating part of betting the NBA by far is blowouts. And McCollum was 2 buckets away from cashing his point total. Marshall was 2 buckets away from cashing his points total. But with about 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, down 872 points. Both of those guys come off and don't play the rest of the fourth quarter. Probably one of the two probably hits, or maybe they both hit, or maybe they don't both hit. But it's a blowout, so you don't even get an opportunity. If they perform better and it's not a blowout, you probably get a cash. But just, god damn, I hate the NBA, and I hate the NBA for their blowouts. And then Turner, double-double. You can blame that one on a blowout if you want. The head-scratching part with him is he averages about 35 minutes a game. He got 20 last night. There was a blowout, so you add the blowout to why his minutes were reduced, but also he didn't do a goddamn thing. Every time I looked at the box score, he had no points and no rebounds. How does a center have no rebounds going into halftime? He didn't do a damn thing. You're a center, you got nothing. Do something, dude. Like, come on. Fight for a goddamn ball. Maybe that's why your minutes were reduced, because you weren't out there doing jack shit. I can understand the points. Like, maybe the offense doesn't flow through that night, but no rebounds and you're the center? That one was absolutely frustrating. So, obviously a down night in the NBA. Was good to hit that good plus money cash right there with McCollum there on his 3-pointers. And then we rolled that in the Australian Open, and let's say Bonzi for last, because that was a dramatic one. We did Brooksby and Wolf. Brooksby to win a set. Hell, he won the whole goddamn match. Wolf to win his matchup against Schwartzman. He took care of business and got rid of the Argentine 3-0. So that was a good plus money cash. Shelton and Jerry over 10.5 games in the first. I said it. Actually, I didn't give those bets out on the show. I gave them out on Twitter. I talked about it on TikTok Live. That guy, Jerry, he's like Isner-like. You can't touch his serve. If he's serving, you're getting a tiebreaker. His match went tiebreaker, 7-5. Now, he lost 3-0, but if he's serving, you can't touch him. He's much like Isner. So to get that at over 10.5 games at plus money, I think we got it at plus 135, if I recall correctly. Like, that's a no-brainer bet. And, yeah, that one cashed super easily. And then Fokina over Paul over, what would we do, 36.5 games. That was another one where, I felt like it was going to go 5 setters. And the reason we've been betting on Fokina's matches to go over is he is kind of like a little mental head case. He can when he's there mentally, he'll whip your ass and he'll take you down 6-3. But he just can't do it over the course of these grand slams. Over these 3 setters, you really don't want to mess around with an over for him, because he can get the job done 2 sets and he's off the court. But 5 setters, he goes through extreme lulls just mentally. And when he dips, so that's how you then get a 5-setter with this guy, because he wins a couple, but then he's going to lose a couple. So he's been an easy overplay, and actually hitting those 2 overs, we now moved to 9-1. That's right. Hit that like button, guys, if you've been part of that. 9-1 betting overs in the Australian Open. And then the dramatic one was Bonzi right there, and he's the reason why I've got bags under my eyes. I generally have bags under my eyes, but I was watching that match. I may have slept 3 hours last night. He loses the first 2 sets. And I'm sitting there watching it. I'm just like, man, if he could win this 3rd set, it's going to be tough. I actually said out loud, it's probably going to have to be in a tiebreaker. Like, he's going to have to fight for it. But if he can win it, and if he does it in a tiebreaker, that'll give him confidence. Sure enough, the 3rd set won in a tiebreaker. That obviously gave him the confidence, because then he went on and won 6-1 and dominated it. Then I stopped watching because I was really just kind of stressing. So I don't really know what happened in the first few games of the fifth set, but then I was like, what's he doing? I turned back on the stream, and he's in a full-on battle again, and I've resumed watching that fifth set, and he won in a tiebreaker. So my man comes home with a plus 220 money line. Plus 220 money line. That feels like makeup for Sonego that we kind of got robbed on the night before. So it was nice to see him come through on that plus 220. So when you add all that, fellas, it comes out to be plus 4.57 units on the night. And now back positive on the week at plus 3.34 units on the week. And as you guys can see right there, we also made some arbitrage money. Good night for putting free money in your pocket. DraftKings does their every Wednesday night gift. Goal in the first 10 minutes. I don't even know the game it was in. I don't even know which side hit. We obviously took the free money. And then they give us 3 NBA boosts as well. Live boosts, which I know are a little bit tough to use. But I think on one I made like $2 and change. On one I actually made like $5. And then the other one I made like a buck or something. There's just, live betting's tough. But just because it's tough doesn't mean I'm not going to put in the effort and wait till halftime for a few NBA games and take the free money. So, yeah, just a good night, obviously, for putting free money in your pocket as well. But most importantly, we put money in people's pocket, and that's what we like. If you're curious what the U.S. Open looks like after 4 days, we, of course, made money on the first day, lost money on the second day, won money on the third day, then obviously the 4-0 sweep yesterday. So kicking ass on the Australian Open. And we, of course, have some bets to share on today's show as well. Let's jump in that comment section, see what we're up to. Yep, I'm still in pain as well. I actually was going to put on a United shirt this morning. I yanked it out of the closet and was like, nah, they didn't earn that right. I'll put that shit right back on in the closet. What's up, man? What's going on, Brian? Yeah, that hurt, Brian. I hear it. Morning, Ross. Morning, Chris. Leeds F'd you. Wow, I don't know how you get F'd in a Leeds game that finishes 5-2. Woof. Oh, no, I think you were hanging out on TikTok. You said you did the correct score, 5-1. That's tough, Pete. That's tough. I think the last goal came on a penalty kick, too. NBA chewed me up and spit me out yesterday. I mean, professional teams getting their ass kicked by 25 points. Sorry, man, you weren't able to scrape across some profit, but I'd like to help you out today, obviously. You missed your Man U play for plus 360. I hit the live bet at plus 350 on TikTok. I otherwise don't know what you're talking about. I only had the money line at minus 125, and then on TikTok, whoever was hanging out on TikTok, we all cashed plus 350. So a touch unsure of what you're talking about there. Had a few NBA. Classic, Brian. Classic. Today's not the day you lose by one leg. Today's the day you get it. Good morning, Alex. Hope you're doing well, man. CJ had 21 at half for early third quarter. No, he had 17 at half, 21. I think he had 21 entering the fourth, and then he didn't do anything, but then he got pulled off with like 6 minutes to go. Him and Marshall both got pulled off. Like, they pulled off every starter. Valanciunas, Marshall, McCollum, they all came off with like 6 minutes to go. So I think he had 17. He had 17 at a halftime, and Marshall had 10, if I'm recalling right. It looked like, even though they were getting their ass kicked, it was like they need a good third quarter because you knew the blowout wasn't coming. You knew minutes were going to be reduced. They unfortunately couldn't come through for us in the third quarter. Murray looked great. My 3 angle hit too. Okay, good. I didn't track that, but that 1.5 number was awfully low based on them allowing 3 per game to that position. So glad that worked out for you, Alex. You're thinking Arsenal double chances money now with under 2.5. Like it. I don't see them losing to United, so I can get behind that. NBA was coasting first half, but blowouts are bad for business. Yeah, it's the NBA. That is the NBA. Can't really do much about that. Turner leaves the paint to block shots sometimes. I mean, I don't know. How do you get no fucking rebounds? You're the center. I hear you, man. I hear you. Nice hit there, Adrian. Nice hit. But lost on the Stars and Sharks. Oh, well, you get a nice parlay. Sounds like maybe came out ahead. You got to get on the tennis bets. Yeah, we've had a nice run. We talk about it. Generally do really well in these U.S. Opens. Like giving a kid a loaded gun. Yeah, I like live betting soccer. That's fun. Oh, you had 5-0. Gotcha. All right, fellas, let's go ahead now and jump on into some bets. What should we start with? Let's go ahead and start with soccer first. That's obviously takes the action first. We talked about all of these bets yesterday on Between the Post there with Matt, so if you want any justification, you can go ahead and check out that. I broke them out. Just in the first one is today, Manchester City versus Tottenham, and then the other ones are, I don't know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, something like that. So That's kind of how I broke them out, just try and make it easier for you guys. But yeah, if you want any justification for those bets, just hop on over to yesterday's episode of Between the Posts. Matt and I, of course, we had a lot of fun talking Premier League this weekend. There will be some bets on tomorrow's show for soccer. Bundesliga is back. Finally, they're off their winter break that they do every campaign. And we'll look to bet some overs. Bundesliga is a great over league, so we'll look to do a classic over 1.5 parlay. There's a game in the Premier League that I think will also hit over 1.5 between Southampton and Villa. I think that makes the over 1.5 parlay. Again, everything in the Premier League was talked about yesterday, so just be on the lookout tomorrow for any additional soccer bets, but that's what we'll go with there. Let's go ahead and throw up the NFL bets next. We're going to go ahead and roll the teaser there on Saturday and Sunday. I like the 49ers money line. I just like them to win the game. Do they cover the spread? I think that they do probably cover the 3.5 spread. But I'm just going to take them to win the game. You guys know I've been talking highly about the Niners for what seems like a good couple months now. I've been talking high about them. So let's see if they can't knock off the Cowboys. And then I like the over in Jacksonville there in the Chiefs. I think it probably does go over 52.5 points, which is the current over. But I need something to parlay with that 49ers money line because I don't like going above minus 150, which is my personal cutoff. So I'll go ahead and do a reduced over there. 40.5 doesn't hit, I'll be beyond shocked. Again, I think the real over hit. So that's how we'll roll there with the teaser. We've talked about Giants plus 7.5, so we don't need to elaborate that anymore. But I went ahead and pulled the trigger at 1.5 units for them to cover the 7.5 point spread. Do I eventually come in for that extra half unit that I mentioned yesterday on maybe the money line? Probably not. Feels like I've got a lot riding on that game, so may lay off on the money line, but we will go ahead and roll with that spread of plus 7.5 for a unit and a half. I do like that Giants team total over 19.5. We talked about that on Monday or Tuesday when I gave that one out. And we're going to go ahead and add Daniel Jones. Gave that one out on Twitter yesterday. We talked about it, so I'm not going to justify it. We talked about it and justified that yesterday. The one thing I'll add about that is just to kind of let you know where that prop is across the various sports books. When we were looking at that one yesterday, DraftKings had 45.5. They've come down to 43.5. So DraftKings has gone down. FanDuel is at 43.5. They've gone up to 45.5. BetRivers, where I gave it out yesterday at 42.5, they've gone up to 43.5. So you can see the books are varying on, the yardage. One goes up, couple go up, one goes down. So just want to throw that information out there. Just want to throw that information out there. We did not get rushing attempts. If you're wondering right there, I know we talked about that yesterday. DraftKings finally put that prop up. BetRivers put it up, and I think FanDuel put it up too. But they only are offering you rushing attempts on Barkley and Jalen Hurts. So that's why I went ahead and settled on yards. So that's what we'll go ahead and do. Of course, those will not be the only bets. Everybody knows the Bills are in action, and I bet the Bills and have a really high hit rate. I actually need to go through my spreadsheet and maybe look that up. But everybody knows we do really well betting the Bills. So we'll get into a bet for that game as well. And then the other one, or those are the games. I think those are the games. So probably just really stick to the Bills. Oh, yeah, Travis Kelce. That's another thing I wanted to add. We probably missed the boat on that one, fellas. When we were talking yesterday, the line was 76.5 yards. Go look up everywhere. The lowest number now is 79.5, and you're even starting to see some 80s and 81.5. So probably missed the boat on Travis Kelce receiving yards. But you know what? There's this great thing in this country called America, a same-game parlay where I can take a reduced number on Travis Kelce and find another advantage in that game, and I'll parlay it with maybe Kelce to have 50 yards or 60 yards. So may have missed out on maybe that being a single bet, but the great thing of same-game parlay in this country, and we'll slap one together with Travis Kelce. So fully expect to maybe give out that bet on tomorrow's show with a same-game parlay in that game. All right, let's jump back in this comment section here for a second. You had Killian Hayes over points. Oh, you're leaning Killian Hayes over points. I can't get behind anything with the Pistons. Homecoming game for him in France. Oh, the Pistons aren't in America? I didn't even know the Pistons are not playing tonight in America? Oh, all right. Either way, I have a hard time getting behind anything Pistons related with trying to rely on them to be productive. Hear about Jalen. All right. That's that Pistons, center or Pistons forward? Power forward? No, I didn't. You heard my reaction to Alex. I didn't even know they were playing in Paris. Yeah, there's that. Bulls center could be All right, I'll have to look at that angle. To be honest, I want to talk some NBA on today's show, but I don't I got some leans I want to share on today's show, but in terms of bets, it gets down to just kind of what I've talked about on maybe some other shows is they just run out of time. Just run out of time researching everything. You're trying to do NFL, trying to do tennis, which is, if I'm going to bet, if I'm going to like prioritize my time, it's like, okay, what do you actually watch and what do you care about? I've been watching the Australian Open. I've been watching soccer. I've been watching the NFL. NBA, I do not watch. I'm just betting the numbers. So that hasn't really been researched. It's got a couple things, but not researched in terms of feeling comfortable to bet it. So, but hearing that news about Vujovic, yeah, he could have himself a nice little day. Let's go ahead and keep this train going, though. Let's go ahead and throw up some NHL bets. And why do we like a couple of these guys go over their shots on goal total? Well, the Canadians allow the third most shots in the league, and the Panthers take the most shots in the league. So we talk about dream matchups. Here you go, boys. Third most allowed versus most taken in the league. I don't know how to pronounce any of these guys' names, so I'm going to share with you guys the stats, and this will kind of let you know how I came to picking these two players there on the Panthers. Those are those guys' names, however you pronounce them, other than Bennett, obviously. You can all see they rank in the top 50 in the NHL in shots taken in the league. You can see what their average is per game, and you can see what their hit rate is in the last 6 games. So you can see why I settled on Bennett and why I settled on Carter, because they're only offering me over 2.5. They basically average 3 per game, and they've had a nice hit rate in their last 6 games. So that's why I settled on those two guys. So that's how we'll roll tonight in the NHL. There is a DraftKings NHL same game parlay risk-free thing. We'll, of course, use some arbitrage money. I'm going right to this game. Again, it's third most shots allowed versus most shots taken. I'm going to drop in a same game parlay a little bit later on Twitter. Going to find some goal scorers. I'm sure it'll be one of these 3 or maybe 2 of these 3, and probably like their team total over or something like that. So just maybe look for that a little bit later on Twitter, where they've got the same game parlay risk-free thing to go ahead and use. Let's go ahead and get to some tennis opens. And before I give you these tennis bets, I will say I haven't gone through all the matches. I just didn't sleep that much. I was up watching Bonzi pull off a dramatic comeback. So I just need to go through the rest of the matches, but I've gone through several of them, and this is certainly what I obviously feel comfortable betting. We're going to keep riding some overs. We're going to do Tsitsipas and Griekspoor over 3.5 sets. I think both of these guys are going to win a set. I've been impressed with them, watching them in this tournament, knowing just who they are generally, but obviously comes down to what are you doing lately in this tournament, and I've been impressed. Remember, we hit Griekspoor the other day there on the money line when he was an underdog. I think both of these guys get a set, and that's obviously what you need, is each of them to win a set, and then you get a good plus money cash. And then the other two, just see overs. You guys know how it is. I likely get 5 sets out of these, but if not, you're going to get tiebreakers. You're going to get some 7-5s out of this, so it's a no-brainer to go ahead and take the over in both of those matches. So that's what we'll do. And then, as for more tennis opens, just stay on Twitter, and I'll drop some more tennis bets. Well, if the research works out, not to force it, but there's matches I haven't even looked at on today's slate, so I anticipate adding something, but we'll just see. What do we want to talk about in the NBA? All right, Nick Claxton blocks and assists. The sports books are scared. For Nets and Suns tonight, we're only getting Kyrie Irving. Nobody for the Suns and nobody else for the Nets. All we're getting is Kyrie Irving. I want to look at Nick Claxton. The other thing I want to keep an eye on is Damian Lillard there of the Portland Trail Blazers. You probably think I'm on an over. He's got 40 points in his last game, 44, I think, in the game before that. I'm looking at Damian Lillard under 8.5 points to be scored in the first quarter. He averages 9.5 minutes in the first quarter, but he only averages 6.6 points. 6.6 points. Those last 2 games where he went for 44 and 40, he got 10 in one and 7 in the other. And he's going up against the Philadelphia 76ers. What have we said about the 76ers versus the point guard position? Great at limiting your points production, but god-awful in terms of allowing assists. This could be a night where maybe he's a facilitator. And if you want to take his over on his assist at 7.5, I also think that's a good angle, because they're just god-awful at the assist, but they're great at field goal percentage, at number 1 in the league, at allowing 40.5% field goal percentage to the point guard position and 19.1 points. So, all right, they hung that number at 8.5 because I think he's on a little bit of a tear, but it's not a number he hits on an average, not even close. His average is 6.6 points in the first quarter, and he gets a brutal matchup here in terms of how the 76ers defend the point guard position. So I probably won't do the assist angle. To me, I really like how they put the number at 8.5. He only averages 6.6, and he's got a tough matchup. So I probably won't play the assist angle. I'm looking at this first quarter under 8.5, and you can find that bet over at DraftKings. DraftKings is where you can find that bet. And then Nick Claxton. Just keep an eye out on Twitter. I feel like we should pull the trigger on Nick Claxton. We'll see what the number is. We'll see what the juices they're offering. But and I think that is all I've got on my notes. Is that all I got right here? Yeah, that's all I got right here. Let's see what you guys are talking about in this comment section. There are some other soccer games. Lazio's in action. If Immobile is playing, I like him as an anytime goal scorer. We've got a lot of free bets. We've got 3 on DraftKings from all the NFL risk-free stuff, and then the other one was from the Australian Open risk-free bet. And then we've even got a free bet over on Bet Rivers. Real Madrid is in action. Barcelona's in action. Lazio's in action. Maybe I use a free bet today. Maybe today's one of those free bets actually expires tomorrow at midnight. So maybe today's the day where I don't feel comfortable putting units on those matches because they're cup games and not league games. But we got free bets. Maybe we can go ahead and use one of our free bets. Lazio, both teams to score. Villarreal, Madrid, both teams to score is your bet at plus 214. I like it. Cup game. So I generally like both teams to score in cup games. So I like it. Are you going to use the tennis no sweat parlay today? Oh, thanks for bringing that up, Sean. This morning when I was price shopping, I did see that they offered a 3-leg, but it was $20 this time, which is just fine to us. We've got $29 of arbitrage money. And then when I logged in to make one of these bets, the over there that I made on DraftKings, now it's 10. But an hour ago when I made that bet, I don't have that promo anymore on DraftKings. I don't have the 3-legged $20 risk-free. So if they give it back to us, you goddamn right, we're crushing the Australian Open. If not, I guess I can post a play. Maybe they only took it away from me. Maybe because I'm kicking their ass and taking all their money in the Australian Open. But I don't know. They took it away from me. My full intention is definitely to give out a tennis parlay using that. I think there's some good dogs today that can go ahead and get the win. You do still have that same time requirement though, so that'll make it sort of a reach of a parlay because the matches have to go off before midnight Eastern time. But if not, maybe I'll put one together So I hear you, Sean. So just be on the lookout for that on Twitter. But yeah, I was pissed they took that away from me. A nice $20 risk free when we've got basically $30 in arbitrage, and I like dogs today on the slate. Hopefully I can go ahead and get that back and utilize that myself. All right, guys, that's how we're going to do it. I don't see any more comments. Coming off a great day, having a nice little week now all of a sudden. Let's go ahead and keep the good times rolling. Hit that like button if you've been part of these cashes. Whatever the hell you cash or say 2-unit play, Bonzi plus 220, 4-0 sweep on Australian Open. Hit that like button. It just helps with the YouTube algorithms, and they help the more engagements you get on likes and comments after the video. And even I think during the live stuff, it just helps them recommending your video when people just log into YouTube. So if you do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, guys, look forward to seeing you guys at the cash counter a little bit later on. Then come on back for tomorrow's show. Again, we're going to roll out some NFL bets, same game parlays, cook up some more action in the NFL, maybe some other player prompts. And then, again, let's add some soccer bets to this as the Bundesliga, a great league for hitting the over, is now back in action this weekend. And then I'll look at NBA later this afternoon, maybe a little closer. And, of course, even though people ask me, there's a great guy that he comments on the videos every now and then, Patrick. He's always like, no NHL plays today. Well, today's a great example of, I'm looking at the NHL every day. I would rather research the NHL over the NBA because you don't see these, I've never seen hockey teams win by like 8 points or 8 goals or whatever, but you get burned all the goddamn time in the NBA. So, yeah, I research the NHL daily. It just sometimes it doesn't work out. Today, dream matchup, again, Canadians third most versus the Panthers that take the most shots. That's a no-brainer, and I can live with the outcome if they were to go 0-2, unfortunately. Based on the research, I could live with that outcome in terms of, the work you put in and what have you. Not going to be happy, but yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. That's dirty. That's because you're kicking their ass, Gent, and you're taking all their money. You have it as of now. All right, I'll oh, yeah, TikTok Live, you goddamn right. For City versus Tottenham, yeah, we'll be jumping on our normal, what is it? It should be a 2 o'clock kickoff, right? Or at least for my time, it's 2 o'clock. Should be 2 o'clock. Yeah, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Oh, shit. Murray's come back from 2 sets down. It's now headed into the 5th. I'm going to go run to the gym real quick and throw this up on the tablet and watch the 5th set on the treadmill. Murray has battled back just like Bonzi. He was down 2-0. Murray's battling back. All right, fellas, I'm going to go watch this 5th set. This tennis open, or this Australian Open, has been phenomenal. Hope you guys have been able to enjoy it. All right, go enjoy your Thursday, and we'll catch you back tomorrow. Appreciate you guys.